Now this is a fan of the New York Football Giants.
Woo! Giants football, baby. 1-2 after today.
Accent and all here in the Tar Heel State. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. A pleasure as always to be joined by the third member of our broadcast team, Laura Oakman. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Tom. Thank you. Tom Coughlin called the Giants' turnovers the last 2 weeks disgusting and embarrassing. He called the team captains together this week and said, we have to create something to be excited about. Defensive captain Justin Tuck told me, we've got to do something. Instead of looking like we're playing to not make something bad happen, we have to make something good happen. We need to be aggressive for 4 quarters, especially when it comes to facing their quarterback. Panthers offensive coordinator Mike Shula is expecting just that, saying we want to make them account for Cam Newton on every play. Tom?
All right, Laura, thank you very much, of course, for Coach Coughlin, coaching today with a heavy heart after learning that his brother John, at 63 years young, passed away earlier this week. And certainly our thoughts and prayers are with Coach Coughlin and his entire family. 6-1 in his career against the Carolina Panthers. On the other side, these are bumpy days and bumpy times for third-year head coach Ron Rivera. They started this season at 0-2. There was some debate if he would even come back for this 2013 campaign. Had to wait an extra week before getting the official word from owner Jerry Richardson. And they're already talking that if the Panthers lose today, his job could be in jeopardy.
Well, you talked about it early to start, Tom, where you look at the contrast between what 0-2 means to Tom Coughlin versus Ron Rivera. You look on their bios, first thing that jumps out at you, Tom Coughlin has 163 wins, Ron Rivera has 13. That defines the difference in pressure.
Panthers won the toss. They've chosen to defer until the second half and staring right into the bright sunshine. And that's something to keep an eye on today. Not only the sun in this cloudless sky, but also the winds, as this one is hammered through the back of the end zone. And the Giants will get it at the 20-yard line. Eli Manning, 32 years young, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a 2-time Super Bowl MVP, makes his 138th consecutive started quarterback for the Giants. The 812 yards, the most he's ever had in back-to-back games, but the big number there, 7 interceptions. Wilson out of the I formation takes a handoff, and not much running room, and that has been the story for the Giants. Only 73 rushing yards in their first 2 games this season.
Well, you start with rookie first-rounder left tackle Justin Pugh. He's guarding Manning's backside. David Wilson's got to hold on to the ball today, stay in the lineup. Brandon Myers had 79 receptions last year for the Raiders, and Victor Cruz has 13 receptions on the year, and by the way, $43 million contract.
Right on the ground once more to Wilson, and he is met behind the line of scrimmage by who else? The leading tackler in the NFL is a rookie. A season ago, Luke Kuechly. Oh, what a player and an emerging star in the NFL is Kuechly.
And he backs up a stout group. We talked about it. In the middle for them, those young rookies, Star Lutulele, that's a big presence inside. And here's the tough thing. Mike Mitchell has gone to free safety because of injury, and Robert Lester, the rookie, is starting at strong safety.
They lost 3/4 of their secondary in the loss to Buffalo last week. So they have literally brought in guys off the streets to start today. Pressure on Manning, and he dives ahead to the 33, and that'll be a first down for the Giants.
We talk about the running presence of a Cam Newton, but even Eli Manning, when he sees man underneath coverage, you can see it here. There's nothing in front of him. He sees that the linebackers and the underneath coverage have turned their back to him. He's veteran enough to pull that down and convert.
A 14-yard carry for Manning picks up the first down. They're going to throw it on first down this time, and out of the backfield, it's Hajnowski. Able to run him down, the former Giant Chase Blackburn. We talked about all the changes, Coach, in the secondary, and my oh my, Ron Rivera probably had to learn who some of these guys are. These were the starters last week in Buffalo.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you look to this week, the roster's totally changed as a coach, and you know me, Tom, I'm looking at him going, who's 38? Is he okay? Does he know what he's doing, Coach?
Brandon Jacobs back with the Giants. Signed him prior to last week, and nowhere to go. There's a flag down. Thomas Davis, who's come all the way back from 3 surgeries, ACL surgeries on that right knee, to play in 15 games, 12 as a starter a season ago. Mike Carey, our referee today.
You can see the look on Tom Coughlin's face. He hates it when those officials, I used to hate it when the officials get together, because that means, wait a minute, they may not be real clear about what they're talking about here, so I'm going to rip them for whatever they call it.
There was no foul for illegal formation. There was an unbalanced line. 3rd down.
All right, they got it right. We talked about the revamped secondary already of Carolina, Tom, and we're going to take a peek at this. You've got to believe they're going to want to be very, very passive, because it is a revamped group, which means it ought to be huge running lanes, not necessarily on this down and distance, but a huge running lanes for the running game. You can see based on where the safeties are going to be, whether they're going to go passive or aggressive. Right now they're showing aggressive with a single high safety defense.
3rd down, and Manning is dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Greg Hardy. A season ago, he had 11 sacks for the Panthers.
Comes off that left side and mistakenly said Pews on his blind side. That's because the blind side's the backside. You can't fault him for looking to that right side with that rookie starting on the right side and figuring the backside's got to be protected. But this is with just a 4-man rush. This is just what Carolina wants. If they could put pressure on Eli Manning with a 4-man rush, that allows them to protect that beat-up secondary.
Weatherford puts the foot on it. Low line drive punt, angling toward the sideline, and it takes a favorable Giants bounce. We'll see where they spot it. Inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Well done by Weatherford. There is a penalty flag. That was all the way back at the line of scrimmage.
During the kick, holding 57 of the kicking team. That foul will be enforced at the previous spot. Replay 4th down.
So they will punt it again.
Yeah, why not if you're going to get pinned inside the 10? And as usual, as a coach, you love to make a coverage team, whether it's kickoff coverage or punt coverage, have to run down the field again. That typically gives the return team the advantage. And these are the kind of little things Tom Coughlin talked to us about, Tom, about that just the little things that just all of a sudden you're not quite, blocking up front. You let a free runner come off the edge. You drop a ball. You get an ill-timed penalty that all of a sudden, particularly on the road, just builds this gigantic hill that we're having to climb up every week.
Well, let's remember now that punt by Weatherford had him pinned inside the 10-yard line. After the penalty, they'll now punt from a 25. Ted Ginn Jr. always dangerous, waiting back at his own 30. He's returned 3 punts for touchdowns in his NFL career. This will be much better field position. Ginn, the fair catch. So take a look at that. That is a 24-yard differential because of the penalty. Cam Newton takes the field for the first time when we return. Spectacular view of Bank of America Stadium in downtown Charlotte. Panthers with the football after a 24-yard gain because of the penalty. The Giants having to punt it twice. So this drive begins at the 33-yard line, and Newton takes a throw, gives it to D'Angelo Williams. Panthers all-time franchise leading rusher. Cam Newton, 24 years old, grew up in Atlanta, won a Heisman Trophy, won a national championship at Auburn. This is his 3rd year in the league. He's thrown for more yards in his first 2 seasons than any other quarterback in NFL history. Their problem has been losing the close ones. And that has been written about and talked about morning, noon, and night seemingly here in the Charlotte area. Poor throw. It'll bring up 2nd down and 8. And now 3rd down.
Pro Bowler Jordan Gross anchors the left side, while D'Angelo Williams is averaging 4.4 per carry. Greg Olsen had 7 receptions and a touchdown last week in the loss to the Bills. And Steve Smith, always the go-to guy for Cam Newton.
Smith, the 5-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, owns every receiving record in Panthers franchise history. This is 13th year out of Utah. Blitz coming on 3rd down. Newton is dragged down by Matthias Kiwanuka all the way back to the 20. So it's 3 and out for the Panthers on offense. And we talked about the bright sunshine and the wind. This is where this punt will be coming in just a moment. Pre-game warm-up, Victor Cruz losing one in the sun. Likewise for the man who returns punts, Ruben Randall. Same thing on the Carolina side.
And this is a factor the coaches have to account for. How much of a return? Maybe you put on a rush, particularly then backed up inside the 20, because you got to know the return is a bit problematic with that sun.
Brad Nortman, line drive punt will take a bounce. Randall at the 28 and brings it to the 31. So both teams slow to start on offense. We'll see if Manning and the Giants can get it going in round 2.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Giants with the football, 1st down from just outside the 30 and all the way back at the 18-yard line. Manning is sacked. Davis was there. Charles Johnson was there. Johnson had 12.5 sacks a season ago.
And it's just kind of a jailbreak. And as we said, they're getting there with just a 4-man rush. This time they brought a linebacker Davis as one of the 4. But Manning, boy, they darn near beat him to the top of his drop. He had no chance to elude that.
That is a loss of 11. Remember now, Charles Johnson, Greg Hardy combined for 23.5 sacks a season ago. Dewan Edwards injured today, added 6 more. This team gets after the quarterback. And Manning is sacked again. Hardy for the 2nd time today. And the woes of this Giants offensive line continue in the opening quarter today.
And this is the proverbial coverage sack. I want you to look how long this takes. He's battling, I'm fine. Manning has no place to go, has to step up in the pocket. Nice job flattening out for the sack.
3rd down and 26 after the loss of 5. And Manning just has to throw it in the ground before he even looked to a receiver downfield.
You remember he threw the interception on a screen to open the season against Dallas. He wasn't going to do that again. Not on 3rd and 26. He saw it all covered, so I'm just going to put this thing in the dirt. 3rd and 26. Low odds on converting.
Ted Ginn Jr. stands back at his own 37-yard line, waiting on the Weatherford punt, who punts from the goal line. Well, he put a foot into that punt. Chasing Ginn back to the 28. Sidesteps one tackler. Ginn tries to turn the corner, run out of bounds at the 41-yard line by Jacon Williams. Carolina getting the football for the 2nd time. Their defense has already sacked Eli Manning 3 times on the first 2 series of the game. Now Cam Newton from out of the shotgun as this Panther drive starts from their own 41-yard line. Screen to Williams. Read beautifully by the Giants defensively. I want to go back to something we talked about from the very beginning. 3/4 of the Carolina secondary injured last week. All the changes. I mean, they literally were signing guys either off the practice squad or off the street to be in uniform and on the field today. What are they doing early on?
Well, we're seeing by a byproduct of that, they've gone very passive in the secondary so as not to get the big play behind them. And they felt they could stop the run with just a normal defensive front, a 7-man box. What we didn't know, could they get home to Eli Manning with just a 4-man rush? And they've already done that big time. This doesn't bode well for New York unless they can somehow find a way to protect it with just that 4-man front.
Newton looking down the field, good protection. And covered beautifully down the field by Aaron Ross, who's in his second tour of duty, getting the start for the injured Corey Webster here today. And let's check in with Kurt back in Los Angeles for a game break.
Well, how about a familiar face in the secondary for the Redskins? D'Angelo Hole has the Matthew Stafford pass thrown right to him. Easy pick. 17 yards later is good for a 7-0 Washington lead over Detroit. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
All right, thank you very much, Kurt. We're going to see the Lions next week against the Chicago Bears. They looked so impressive week 1 against Minnesota and then lost in the desert to the Cardinals last weekend. 3rd down and 13. They're coming after Newton. And he has room to run. And dives for a first down crossing midfield at the 49-yard line.
The exact same thing we saw earlier when Eli Manning scrambled for a first down on a 3rd and 10. Cam Newton drops back, sees that everybody's got their back to him. I can see maybe turning your back on Eli Manning, but I'm not sure I've run a whole lot of defense where everybody has their back to Cam Newton, because he's going to get a whole lot more than that if you don't keep your eye on him in the pocket.
Fake it to Tolbert, pitch it to D'Angelo Williams, and a good carry for Williams. That's a gain of 12 on first down to the Giants' 37-yard line.
Nice little wrinkle on the read option. Normally you either give or keep, but Cam Newton's going, I'd much rather, if I'm not going to give it, let me throw the pitch out there to D'Angelo Williams. He's a lot more better equipped, or he's a lot better equipped to take the beating than I am. Cam Newton, we talked about with he and Mike Shula, they'd like to limit him to about 8 carries a game. They know he's a dynamic runner. Half of those may be called runs. That's an example of, you know what, we can take advantage of the read option, but let's let our running backs carry it a little bit more than Cam Newton.
Take it one way, and just having to throw it in the ground. That was read beautifully by Sean Rogers. Coming up today on Fox, a series premiere of Being Mike Tyson. The show critics are calling brutally honest. If you think you know him, think again. Being Mike Tyson premieres today. Following football on Fox, new episodes on Tuesdays over on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com right now. 2nd down and 10 at the Giants' 37-yard line. That looked like a design call. A draw by Newton. And very close to a first down. Needed to get to the 27. We'll wait and see where this ball's spotted.
And that's a designed run in the sense that Cam Newton, if the front looks right, and it obviously did to him, he's going to pull this thing down. This is one of those 8 runs we talked about where he'll typically take off. That's about what he's averaging. I imagine he had the opportunity to check out of it if it wasn't just right in terms of the number count, because they're very conscious of the fact they don't want Cam Newton running up into a stacked defense. So they got just the right call on there. Cam Newton has no hesitation in pulling it down when he knows the number count is right.
I mean, look, through all of the good, the bad, the indifferent, as far as losing all the games that they have, they're 13 and 21, and it looks like, well, let's see, maybe an inch short of the first down. You know, the Rivera-Newton combination, they're 13 and 21. They're 2 and 14 in games decided by a touchdown or less. But make no mistake of some of the numbers Newton has put up. His first 33 games in the NFL, he is the only player ever with over 8,000 passing yards, 1,000 rushing yards, and 20 or more rushing touchdowns. This is a dynamic, talented young man.
And the numbers are undeniable, but in this league, they have to translate to wins at some point. The toughest thing to do is to evaluate a quarterback, separating his production from the production of the team as a total, but you're still going to lump them together, and that's the thing left to do for Cam Newton and the Panthers is to win.
Well, they've got Tolbert in the backfield, and Newton's going to keep it, and appears to have enough for the first down. I mean, look at some of these numbers. This is all time. The most rushing yards by a quarterback. The second most passing yards by a quarterback. The second most total touchdowns, passing or running. And look at some of the company he's keeping there.
Well, if you're a computer company designing a football game, that's the guy you put together computer-wise. He's going to look and have the physical skills of Cam Newton. They are dynamic, to say the least.
Fakes a handoff on the read option, and Newton tripped up inside the 15-yard line. That'll be another Carolina first down.
This is one of the favorite runs of the Carolina Panthers. And again, this is not read option. This is a great look from the top. You're going to see the guard pull. Now he rides the back, and once they get wide, and you've got to widen when you see that guard pull, you head that back all the way to the outside. He pulls it back down and goes right down the heart of a defense. The worst thing a defense wants to see is to get run on, particularly by the quarterback, down the heart of your front seven.
Williams cuts it back to the inside and met by Herzlich inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Of course, D'Angelo Williams carrying the bulk of the load right now. They have Jonathan Stewart inactive after undergoing surgery on both ankles. Williams lost his job, you may remember, midway through last year when Stewart got hurt. Turned it on the final 5 weeks, including that 210-yard performance in the season finale. 10th play of the drive. Jump ball for Smith. Crowd looking for a flag on Amukamara, and it never comes.
I know how much you love the fade route, Tom, but I'm with you on this one. Now, Steve Smith, as good as he is, he's 5'9". And when you throw that kind of route down here, you're counting on the DB missing at the line of scrimmage, and basically Steve Smith athletically and speed-wise to get to that corner, because him, as brilliant as he is, out jumping a DB is not necessarily in his wheelhouse.
Had a great career as Smith. And now 3rd down and 8.
This could be Cam Newton run time as well.
Blitz coming. Catch, and inside the 5, very close to a first down, is a tight end Olsen, and they can get a first down just outside the 1-yard line. They may have to measure again.
They take him off the line just a little bit. Now you talk about a size mismatch compared to the small Steve Smith that's got to beat you with quickness. Greg Olsen, great hands, all 6'6" of him. That's a big sweep spot for the quarterback.
They are going to measure one more time. And of course, every Carolina fan, when they hear 4th and 1, they begin to have nightmares. Because 4th and 1 late in games has turned out to be the demise of the Panthers, losing all the close games, and really put Ron Rivera under the microscope. 5 times in the last year they've had 4th and 1 in games, late in games. 4 of the 5 he punted or kicked a field goal. Once he went for it, they lost all 5 games. And that's late in the game.
Yeah, last week was a good example of him making the decision for a reason that makes sense tactically. All of them make sense, but when you're staring up at the possibility of 0-3, I'm not sure you go with reason, and sometimes you just got to go with the emotion that says, we need this.
So you're going here if you're Ron Rivera?
And where he is right now, and it's just, it's what, it's whatever you do, it better work, because if you go for it, they're going to applaud it. And if he doesn't get it, they're going to start booing him. But yeah, I think where your team is right now, I think you need that emotional push, that emotional punch of, if not the score, at least getting another set of downs by going for it here.
Well, he's going for it.
Last time they did it on a quarterback sneak, I can imagine the New York Giants are going to put a whole lot of beef right in front of the 6'5" Cam Newton.
And that's a whole lot of beef.
He may go right over the top.
They give it to Tolbert. Touchdown.
You can see what happens when you have to account for all this inside. It leaves you vulnerable on the edges. They had it wadded up inside, so Tolbert says, you know what? I'm a big man, but I can count. I think I'm just going to go to the outside and get the score.
Silatolu leading the way, pulling from the left guard position. And now the point after by Graham Gano to make it 7-0 Panthers. A very impressive drive highlighted by the running game. Newton, Williams, Tolbert to the end zone. First rushing touchdown this season for the Panthers. First quarter points for the Panthers so far this season. Of those 12 plays, 7 of the 12 running the football.
Don't forget, we talked about the sun again. It's still up there, by the way.
Well, Brian, you ought to do a hit every now and again on the Weather Channel.
What you can do, I'm up.
You know what would be good is you on the Weather Channel doing a little something like this. Are you capable?
It's got me written all over it, man. Kevin Gilbride trying to find a crack to this Carolina Panthers defense, because right now they're 6 of 9 plays with 0 or negative yards.
Well, you understand Henry Hynoski had to leave the game with an injury and sacked for the 4th time already. Here in the opening quarter is Eli Manning, and that is the first career sack for the #1 pick, Lotulelei.
Right here, we talked about the inside presence, and again, it's not happening quickly. It's not like these guys are rushing past their protectors. These are coverage sacks. Eli Manning gives a look down the field, nothing's there, and slowly but surely, this 4-man rush collapsed the pocket of the New York Giants.
Second down at 14. They're going to hand it off. Negative yardage again. That is 8 of the 11 offensive plays run by the Giants in this game that have gone for 0 or negative yards, and we have a penalty flag.
Delay of game. Offense number 22 spiking the ball after it's dead. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Wow. That's not going to make Tom Coughlin happy now. This is one thing to spike the ball after a big, good play, but after a bad one, and that's just pure frustration. You can see it on Tom Coughlin's face. You can see it on the player's face. That's 2 back-to-back plays by Star Lotulelei on the sack, and in that run, he got to the backfield. He got into the backfield and hit the back barely, as he barely had the ball. That's one thing to get 0 yards, to get blown up behind the line of scrimmage. Tough start for the Giants.
3rd down and 23. They need to get up to the 30-yard line. Jernigan broke a tackle by Kuechly, but then dropped a yard later. And once more, a 3-and-out possession for the New York Giants. You know, Brian, you look at this Giants offensive line. You mentioned the rookie Pugh is taking the place of the injured David Deal over at right tackle. But everybody else in this group, now Boss did not play the first week, came back the second game. You're talking about a 9-year veteran at center. Booth, 8-year veteran at guard. Snead, 10-year veteran at guard. Will Beatty on a very short punt. And Carolina touched the football. This may have been a terrible decision by the Panthers, and the Giants catch a break. What in the world was a Panther thinking along that far sideline?
I think what happened was as the ball started to spin back towards the Giants, they weren't sure if it had hit one of their guys or not. Sometimes you can lose track of the ball, particularly when the returner does not carry it or does not get it. And these guys coming in, I'm not sure if they weren't sure that the lead blockers, it hadn't come off their thigh or their foot, and just out of sheer caution tried to get on it.
Well, it looked like Josh Norman was trying to pick the ball up and run. Diving to try and cover the ball up, it appeared, was 57 Jordan Sen. And Ron Rivera thinking, you've got to be kidding.
You've got the field position. If you just let the ball roll to a stop, you're in great shape. But as I said, Norman he wasn't sure if it hit someone, and he wasn't going to take the chance. Huge mistake for Carolina. Great opportunity for the Giants. Can they take advantage of it?
Well, they get the football all the way over the Carolina 38-yard line. And on every change of possession, they always have to look it over just to make sure upstairs in the replay booth.
And this one ought to be pretty clear cut, because it wasn't an issue anymore. Did it touch someone or not? Clearly Norman was trying to get on top of it. You might have questioned whether it hit the blockers for Carolina initially, but there's no question that it bounced around once Norman tried to put his hand on it.
Or maybe they're taking a look at, did it hit a Giant? Because if it hit a Giant, the ball is down right there.
Correct. If it hit a Giant first, but well, yeah, that's a lot to sort through.
Mike Carey, our referee, Tom Chase, the replay assistant to Dale Hamer.
The previous play with instant replay. Timeout.
All right, so we're going to take a break while they look it over. 7-0 Panthers in front. This is a big call when we come back.
This is clearly going to be the New York Giants ball, because you're going to see here as the ball come down, Richie Brockle, right there, it comes off. You're going to see it come into vision right there, right off his hip. So it doesn't matter that the Giants jump on it now. Tight end Larry Donnell, him falling on it, and then now it's real clear cut there. It hit a Carolina Panther. This is the Giants ball. This is just the impetus they need. Now can they do anything with it?
So clearly Josh Norman and Jordan Sen saw that football hit Brockle. That's why they went at it.
And even if they didn't see it, they weren't sure it didn't, so they were right in trying to jump on top of it.
Tom Coughlin told us yesterday his team needs some kind of a jump, an emotional lift, something to get their team moving in the right direction, because this has been just about as ugly a quarter offensively as the Giants maybe have had in 10 years under Tom Coughlin.
But there's two parts to that equation, Tom. Like we said, great, you got that break now, Coach Coughlin. What can you do with it? It almost works in reverse, that if now you get this huge break and you go 3 and out, you not only have lost the ball, but now your team's going, oh boy, are we snake bit.
Well, we finally have a verdict.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The ball was touched by 47. There was no clear recovery. Therefore, the ruling stands. First down.
So after all that Giants football, 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. -4 yards. We have one play more than likely remaining in this opening stanza.
And we'll say again, the secondary of the Panthers, you can see they're back here. Right now they can afford to be passive because this front 7 is dominating the Giants.
Wilson. That's by far their best run by a running back today. And let's check in back quickly in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Down 7-0 at home to Arizona. Drew Brees and the Saints. That's pretty. Robert Meacham on the other end. 27 yards for the score. All tied at 7. We're just starting the second quarter there. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Kurt, thank you. Meacham, a guy they let go and then brought back. Second down, and they'll stay on the ground, and looking for running room is Wilson. Got back to the line of scrimmage after they had him trapped 4 yards behind it. So that'll be the final play of the opening quarter. Carolina 7, the Giants nothing. Both teams desperately in search of win number 1. Talked about how bad it was on offense for the Giants in the first quarter. 3 yards. Their fewest total in an opening quarter since 1991. So third down and 3 after they got the turnover. And sack again is Manning. A penalty flag comes down. The rookie K'Wan Short. His first career sack.
Holding. Offense number 65. Is declined. 4th down.
That's Will Beatty. So, after they caught the break, you said it, Coach Billett, a 3 and out.
And again, it comes from the inside. That Manning steps up. He steps up. This was kind of a gift for Short. He comes off it late. But we talked about the first and second round draft choices of the Carolina Panthers with Star Lotulelei, and then in the second round with K'Wan Short, paying big dividends right now.
That is the 5th sack in a quarter and a play for the Carolina defense. And again, we'll call for the fair catch at the 13-yard line. Well, you can't pin any of this, I wouldn't think, Coach, on Eli Manning.
Well, Hardy's having a big day from the outside. It's the typical outside pressure. Davis steps up and helps Johnson. And then again, the inside pressure. We see it time and time again. Peyton Manning has no place to go down the field. Not there. I want to step up. And then it just collapses from pressure from the outside and then gets finished off on the inside.
Well, I know it's only a quarter, but we've got to give a lot of credit to this reworked, revamped, injury-riddled secondary of the Carolina Panthers.
They brought Drayton Florence in off the street. I say off the street, he was with them in training camp. And this is a long-time veteran, but he was going to see appreciable playing time because that back end was just a mess due to injury.
First down, a carry to D'Angelo Williams. He's wrapped up after a gain of a yard. And a flag down. No penalty flag. Apparently the official on the far side may have had it slip out of his pocket and picked it up.
Quiet up here to Steve Smith. He's got to show up pretty soon.
Newton. Dangerous pass, and that's Aaron Ross. Ross with the interception, playing in place of the injured Corey Webster. And looked like trouble the second he turned him loose.
This is a long old throw. You're going to see him run a deep comeback. Now with the ball on the left hash, this is as long a throw. That was a tough one. He flattened his route at the top just a little bit, allowing Aaron Ross to step underneath it. You've got to put that on Brandon LaFell just a little bit. Those deep comebacks have to come back at an angle. If you round it at the top, you simply open the door for the corner to step underneath, just as Aaron Ross did.
Ross back with the Giants after spending 1 year in Jacksonville. Wilson turns the corner and tiptoes into the end zone, a touchdown. And there is a flag down at the line of scrimmage, and this one's coming back.
10-yard penalty is still first.
That is a second straight penalty on the left tackle, Will 'll 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 'l 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 'l
Right here on the left side, Beatty's having a tough time on that last third down. When the ball bounces outside him, and this was designed to go inside, you can see the defender start to pull away. He gets a hold of that jersey, almost a little surprised by the fact that the ball bounced outside. He's thinking he's doing a heck of a job right here, and all of a sudden he pulls away and grabs a little bit of jersey of Greg Hardy.
So they take away the touchdown. They back him up 10 yards to the 27. A sixth sack. Hardy for the third time today, the first man there.
I sound like a broken record, but these aren't one-on-one matchups, guys beating other guys. This is just, he's got no place to go, and the cup just slowly gets compressed. Now Hardy does a nice job coming underneath here, but you can see the press in front of him. He's got no place to go. This front four of the Carolina Panthers is totally manhandling the offensive line of the New York Giants.
They had the ball just a moment ago at the 17-yard line. Now they're at the 34. Manning throws. First time we've said the name Victor Cruz today. And he's down to the 28-yard line. Brings up another third down and very, very long.
Tom Coughlin told us that his team is yet to even attempt a third or three and less. This is a long yardage to get. They desperately need to, at the very least, stay within field goal range. If they don't come away with any points here due to a sack or something else, it could be catastrophic. They've had two huge breaks. To not capitalize on either one would be devastating.
Four-man rush. Manning completes a pass down to the 20-yard line. Once more to Cruz, but out comes the field goal unit led by their new place kicker Josh Brown. Well, they had a touchdown run by Wilson, negated by the penalty against Will Beatty on holding, a sack, but now just trying to get points. Brown, of course, replacing Lawrence Tynes as the Giants kicker. This one from 38 yards out. And he missed it.
Oh my goodness. And that's exactly what Tom Coughlin's thinking right now. Forget the fact that you don't get the points. We've had two huge opportunities to get back in this game, and we haven't been able to convert on any. This is offensive line coach Pat Flaherty trying to pump up his left tackle, Will Beatty. That last series was a tough one. I talked about the rookie on the right side, Justin Pugh, as someone to watch. But right now, this last series, the veteran Will Beatty has struggled mightily on a third down and a penalty once they were in scoring or on a touchdown run to keep the Giants from getting on the board.
Well, the Panthers, after the miss by Brown, get the football at the 27-yard line, and they're going to turn and hand it off to D'Angelo Williams. And he has that football wrapped up tightly. Williams, his fifth carry, slow to get started. On the ground, they had the 4 carries for 40 yards for Cam Newton, which helped lead to the only scoring drive for either team in the game in the opening quarter. Newton has hit on 2 of his first 7 and overthrows an open Olsen down to the 45-yard line. Third down and 8 coming up, and we check in once more back in Los Angeles with Mr. Menifee.
Well, a completion from Tom Brady to the undrafted rookie Kimbrell Tompkins out of Cincinnati. Good enough for his first NFL touchdown, and good enough to put the Patriots on top of the Bucs 7-3 in the second quarter. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Tell you, that Tompkins story is an absolutely unbelievable story. We don't have enough time to tell it right now, but the journey of that young man to find his way in the NFL is just extraordinary. Third down and 8. Defender got turned around. Aaron Ross unable to sneak in on his side with Smith and a first down catch.
This is the ultimate in trust between a quarterback and a receiver. Smith runs this deep hook route. Newton sees that he is beat to the outside, so he throws it back to the inside, knowing that the DB had his back to it, that Aaron Ross wasn't going to see that he threw it back to the inside. You really have to trust your receiver to put the ball there.
94th consecutive game with a reception for Steve Smith, and on the first down they're going to put it in the air. Underneath to LaFell, and he's to the Giant 38-yard line. Brandon LaFell, they keep waiting for this young man to really step up and be a complimentary receiver to Smith.
Yeah, you can see they're just going to run Greg Olson off the ball here. He's going to sit down into an open zone. The linebacker carries the tight end deep into it, and LaFell saying, okay, I'm just going to find the soft spot, go through your read progression, and I'll be here when you need me.
LaFell shut out in the opening weekend against Seattle at 4 catches for only 13 yards, so that one goes for 17. And on first down, maybe a yard for Williams. And on this beautiful Sunday from the Tar Heel State, our aerial coverage provided by DirecTV. They've done a great job, all the growth they've had in the greater Charlotte area, downtown. A lot of Giants fans in town over the weekend.
There are a lot of Giants, and they were big. They were living large downtown Charlotte last night.
They were living large in the room next door. Catch by Smith. Avoids one tackler and is able to tiptoe his way down the sideline to the 25, and that's a Carolina first down.
And this is what you're going to get out of Steve Smith. Just a little hitch route. Mukamara turns hips up. Anytime you see that, a DB puts his back to the quarterback, you know the receiver's going to pull up. And now Steve Smith with the ball in his hands, squared up on any defender, is going to go to Steve Smith.
That'll be a 13-yard gain, so all of a sudden the passing game begins to come alive on this drive for the Panthers. They're at the Giants' 25-yard line, 8:30 to play until halftime, and the Panthers with a 7-point lead will spend a timeout.
After last week's stunning showdown between two of the house's top fighters, the tension between Team Rousey and Team Tate spills over into the locker room in what's being called the new best rivalry in sports. Don't miss an all-new episode of Ultimate Fighter this Wednesday on Fox Sports 1. Find Fox Sports 1 on your provider. Go to foxsports1.com and do it now.
Look inside the numbers, and when you see the numbers like this, Coach Billick, you would think it would be far more lopsided than just a 7-point game.
Yeah, because you see right here, you'd look at that and go, okay, well, the Giants must be doing pretty good. But they've been able to overcome it. And like we said, the Giants have been able to do nothing with the 2 huge breaks that have been teed up for them.
7th play of this Carolina drive coming up. Newton is hit on 3 out of 4 for 45 yards.
Remember, we were down here before. It was all Cam Newton and D'Angelo Williams in the running game.
That's it.
And this time it's Williams. And good yardage inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Keith Rivers losing his helmet on the play. Some of the numbers. Slow start for Newton through the interception that the Giants could do nothing with. Williams, we mentioned, very quiet. So too for Smith. It is the Panther defense that has been the story in this one, sacking Eli Manning 6 times already. There's that design run. Newton, penalty flag comes down, dives to the 18-yard line, but we wait on the penalty flag.
Personal foul, face mask, offense number 70. 15-yard penalty, still second down.
That's a backup left guard who's back in a Panther uniform after missing all of last year with an injury while with the Bengals, Travell Wharton.
Well, I think this is like we saw against the Giants. All of a sudden the ball bounces outside and someone begins to kind of pull away from you. You just kind of reach up and either get a little bit of jersey, a little bit of face mask, anything you can hold on to. That one was a bit passive. I don't know. I don't know if he didn't just brush the face mask on that one.
Penalty moves it back to the 35-yard line. Second and 20.
Rather than having the ball at the 18 after the run by Newton, Giants accept the penalty, back it up to the 35-yard line, which brings up a second down and 20.
This is where Cam Newton's got to be careful now. Don't put your team in a vulnerable position by throwing a pick.
Four-man rush. Looking to Ginn. Batted away, beautifully defended by Ross. Former #1 pick in 2007 by the Giants.
Just Ginn on the outside here. Well, I'm going to circle him twice. It's so important. He's just going to go vertical. Not a lot of complexity to this. Cam Newton, if there's a nick on him on the deep ball, he's so strong-armed. He's so fluid. The ball tends to be a little flat. He's got to drop it in the trash can, we used to say. A little bit more arc. Give your receiver a chance to let it drop in behind that defensive back. In this case, Ross was able to put his hand up and knock it down.
It will be a very, very long field goal try from here. Third down and 20. And Newton stays in that pocket. And a hit delivered on LaFell. My, Ryan Mundy. And a flag is thrown.
This is going to be brutal. This is going to be the defenseless receiver or leading with the helmet that's going to give Carolina a first down inside the 30.
Of course, Mundy playing for the injured Stevie Brown. Lost for the season to a knee injury.
Boy, this is the one that makes the defensive guys just crazy.
There is no foul for defensive receiver. Contact was to the chest. Fourth down.
Well, there you have it.
Great call. I love it. It looked like maybe he led with the head, or it can start on the head of the face mask and dip down, but he did it just the way the league says you need to do it. You got to get the body hit. LaFell turns, and just as he's coming in, he changes his target and brings it down into the chest plate rather than the helmet. Nice job.
This will be a 53-yard field goal try for Graham Gano. And he puts a foot on it. And more than enough. 4 for 4 as a Panther is Gano. Carolina in front, 10-0. $10-0 ball game. Carolina in front with just under 7 minutes to go until halftime. Well, the Giants had the turnover after the punt. Hit Richie Brockle in the leg. They had the interception inside the 30-yard line. Had a touchdown run taken away on a penalty, but still only down 10-0. The home of NASCAR, the Hall of Fame, and the great Richard Petty's 1966 Plymouth Belvedere. You look good in one of those coats.
Love it. I love it.
New York Giants with the football. Already 6 times today, Eli Manning has been sacked. That ties an all-time Giants record for a half, and we still have 6:44 to play in it. Carolina, a couple of turnovers, giving the Giants at least a chance to stay in it. Manning to drop back and throw it on first down through the hands of Victor Cruz.
We've got to go back to the history. The Giants had a great opportunity here. The interception by Aaron Ross. Then they come back what should have been an apparent touchdown, but Will Beatty gets called for holding against Greg Hardy. then they come back, and Josh Brown misses the field goal to put the donut on the scoreboard for the New York Giants.
And that drop by Cruz, that went right through his hands. That's the 8th one of those by the Giants this season, tied with the Lions and the Patriots for most in the NFL. Brandon Jacobs bottled up at the line of scrimmage. Will bring up 3rd down, and we'll call it 10.
You know, these 6 sacks on Eli Manning reminds me when he came in as a rookie with my Baltimore Ravens, and we just beat him mercilessly. I actually went to Rex Ryan and say, look, I don't want to be the one to have to call Archie Manning and tell him he's got to come visit his son in the hospital. How about we back off just a little bit? That's not going to happen here because Ron Rivera is going to turn his troops loose. But Eli Manning is certainly feeling the pressure with 6 sacks already.
Giants 1 of 6 on 3rd down, and they're coming after him. And what a catch, and then a sidestep by Cruz, and he appears to have enough for a 1st down. Great move by Victor Cruz. Let's check in downstairs with Laura.
Tom, the first thing Tom Coughlin told us in Saturday's meeting was they are striving for balance. We're seeing them try to get the run game going. This doesn't help. Fullback Henry Hynoski left the game earlier with a shoulder injury. The Giants aren't saying officially what it is. The x-rays, he underwent x-rays. He is out for the rest of the game. Will not return with a shoulder injury.
Well, thank you. And of course, Hynoski missed all that time after the knee surgery during training camp. Looking for Cruz. Covered beautifully by the captain, Captain Munnerlyn. And Manning took a big hit from Colin Cole as he delivered that pass to Cruz.
Well, it's just one of those desperation throws that Eli Manning in the past few games, and boy, he did take a hit, is having to put up more and more of. It has led to some interceptions as well, but a little bit of desperation on a 1st down throw by the Giants.
2nd down and 10. Wilson wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, still on his feet. Swarming Panther defense drops him all the way back to the 25-yard line. Right now, game break time. Let's return to Los Angeles and say hello to Joel Klatt.
All right, Tom, we get you to Cincinnati. Clay Matthews Jr. leaps from the right side. Fumble. M.D. Jennings picks it up. 24-yard return for a touchdown. Made it 14-10 at the time. The Pack have added a field goal. It's 14-13 in Cincinnati. Tom.
Yeah, last check, the Packers in that game had 12 passing yards, and they're only down 1 point. Talk about the Giants rushing problems through the first 2 weeks. They've not gotten any better today. 3rd down, Pasco, shot down back at the 27-yard line by Melvin White. That's another youngster, a rookie out of Louisiana Lafayette that they activated for the game today with all the injuries in that secondary.
And we can't say enough about the job this revamped secondary for Carolina is doing against the Giants. So remember now, Giants were the leading passing offense in the National Football League. So for a revamped secondary to hold on the way they have, kudos to the Panthers.
Well, the 3rd very short punt. And they're going to spot it out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So Eli Manning and the Giants offense searching for answers. Nothing ball game. Carolina in front. You know, we talk so much about the extraordinary talents of Cam Newton, but certainly one thing that they're not happy about around here in Carolina, many of the fans, some of the body language or, you know, a lack of leadership that has been displayed by Newton. He walks out of Auburn, Heisman Trophy winner, won a national championship there with Auburn, #1 pick coming into the NFL. You're used to winning games. You're used to having things go your way. 13 wins against 21 losses as a starter to begin his NFL career, and obviously all of that not solely pinned on him. First down out of shotgun, and that ball tipped to the line of scrimmage. But some of the press conferences, the body language that we saw last year.
The same script, by the same director. It's kind of getting boring. Who wants to support something that, that puts on a performance of embarrassment? I'm gonna leave this room and I'm gonna bring in the suggestion box, and I want your suggestions to be in that suggestion box because I sure don't know.
Now that was Cam Newton in 2012 after all of the gut-wrenching losses they had. First down catch, and short by about a yard of a first down is Olsen.
And you had to be impressed with his demeanor as we were on Friday, Tom, in terms of the approach. He recognizes that, and you can see he realizes he had to change his approach. And I give him great credit for it. He says this is Cam Newton with updated software. And I like that because he recognized the people around him saying, look, you don't want to be this guy. He said he was disgusted by looking at the examples we just showed. You got to give the young man credit for recognizing he needed to change that.
On third down and less than a yard, Tolbert picks up the first down. We're under 3 minutes. Let's check in along the sideline with Laura Oatman.
Well, Cam looked at those because actually his father and brother made him. They were seeing the same thing everybody else did. And Cam said, I can't blame them. After I watched myself, I was disgusted. I understood the perception. He said it's like looking at a high school picture of yourself where you go, I wore glasses like that? Why was my hair like that? He said the old Cam, last year's Cam, would have blocked out his teammates during a bad time. Tom, I'll finish in a second.
They're in hurry-up mode now with 2:25 to go. Looking down the sideline and covered well by Amukamara on Smith, who's still not gotten off the turf. Smith injured down at the 9-yard line. And immediately the Carolina medical staff going to rush out and check on their star wide receiver, Steve Smith.
And as I said earlier, Steve Smith getting a nice jump on Amukamara. This ball just a little flat. He needed that air to lead. Steve Smith let him fade away to the outside. Amukamara being able to break it up now. And now it looks like they just get tangled up a little bit. And can't tell there. Came down on his hip. We'll find out what happens. The ball hit him right in the face. Obviously couldn't see it with the hands of Amukamara flashing in front of him.
Well, they're taking a look at Smith, and all his teammates are surrounding him. And Cam Newton coming down there to look at him. Laura, you were talking about the Carolina quarterback.
Yes, that Cam said when things were bad before, he would block out his teammates. This week, he said, I saw my teammates, I saw my coaches looking at me, wondering how am I handling this, how am I handling a 0-2 start. He said, I started wondering, if you pick a random person in the Panthers building and say, what do you think of Cam? Would I like that answer? All of that has been the impetus leading to what he's trying to do to change. He said, I'm not perfect, but I can be better.
Laura, thank you. They're still looking at Smith. Gives us a chance to remind you, you've heard about him, you've read about him. Now your chance to see Jay and Dan from Fox Sports Live doing highlights like only they can. Stay tuned right here on Fox to see Jay and Dan on the postgame show. Then tune in tonight at 11 to Fox Sports 1 and see them cover all the news from the world of sports. That'll be on Fox Sports Live. On Fox Sports 1, check out where to find it on your provider by going to foxsports1.com right now. And Smith doesn't appear to need any help walking to the sideline. That's a good sign. But what a find he has been since they took him in the 3rd round out of the University of Utah.
He came into the league with a huge chip on his shoulder, and he still plays with that, even though with all the accomplishments, 13th year in the league. Hopefully he just kind of came down on the hip a little bit long, needs a little chance to work it out. Hopefully he'll be fine and back in the lineup, because this is the go-to guy. And I give him great credit for when they went to Cam Newton, they let go of head coach John Fox. This was a clear change in the direction they wanted to go. He says, okay, I'm in. I'll help this young quarterback, and he's been huge for the development of Cam Newton.
Carolina with 2 timeouts remaining. We have 2:17 to play until halftime. And the Panthers with the ball from their own 46-yard line. Leading 10-0. Tried to fool the Giants there. That did not fool Linval Joseph. Joseph in his 3rd year as their starting defensive tackle out of East Carolina University.
Like we've seen from the Carolina Panther front, he got the jump on the ball there, and that now puts Carolina in a tougher position. Turning into a 3rd and long. This is a Cam Newton down if they're going to get some scoring position from this.
They're putting a pad in the left hip area of wide receiver Steve Smith after he left the field a moment ago. I'm sure he wants to get that thing on and come racing right back out there. He will not be on the field for what is a 3rd down and 11.
And without a Steve Smith, I'd find Greg Olsen right now. This down and distance is perfect for him and Cam Newton.
Crossing pattern, and good enough it appears for a 1st down to Ted Ginn Jr. and the clock continues to run. Carolina 2 timeouts left. 1:45 to play in the half. Along the sideline, it is Olsen. And he steps out of bounds at the 35. That'll be a gain of 8. There is a flag down behind the line of scrimmage. The Panthers already starting to walk backwards as Smith comes on the field.
Not a 10-second runoff as we're not under 1 minute. 1st down.
Had some technical problems here with a microphone of Mike Carey, but what we do know it's a 5-yard penalty. So it is 1st down and 15. The ball at the Giants 48-yard line, and Smith right back in there, defended by Ross at the bottom of your screen.
Look, I'm wrong. It's top. I thought they slipped him out to the top on a Mukamara again. You come right back to Steve Smith.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 91 jumped into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction by number 77. 5-yard penalty, still 1st and 10.
Giants give it right back. How about that? Is not that the way that it's going for the Giants today? You get a little bit of a break with the procedure penalty, and boom, you give it right back. Tuck shaking his head going, how could I do that? And now Smith's up the top. Sometimes a DB, someone who's hurt, might take a few more liberties. Steve Smith might take advantage of that.
Now they have Smith back on the top of your screen. And right through the hands of the tight end Olsen.
The Panthers have to be a little careful here. They're about probably 15 yards from a decent makeable field goal position. So some of the play calling's got to keep that in mind with 1:30 on the clock. Does still have 2 timeouts, so he's got plenty of time.
8th play of the drive on a 2nd down and 10. Williams comes on the blitz. And did Ginn get both feet in? Yes, is a ruling on a sideline. And that'll be a 1st down to the 31-yard line.
Again, one of these comeback routes we talk about, I want you to watch the angle of Ginn. See how he comes back a little bit rather than flattening it like we saw on the interception earlier in the game. He comes back in an angle. Nice job dragging the feet. Got control. That is a catch all the way.
Of course, Ginn, the former #1 pick out of Ohio State, originally with Miami. He was virtually non-existent in the 49ers passing game the last 3 years. And now Panther. Tolbert trying to cut it back to the inside. He's down to the 27. And the clock continues to run, 1:15. You surprised they're not taking a timeout here?
No, you might want to keep. They got plenty of time here. They were thinking about it. They are moving around a little slow. I want to step up the tempo. The run is fine because, again, you got those 2 timeouts in your back pocket.
Blitz coming. Newton looking for Olsen, and this time he hangs on to the football. And that is a first down to the 15-yard line.
Again, the key was Olsen came back at a very definite angle to give Newton the area to throw to very safely.
Timeout Carolina, 1 remaining, and we will check in with Kurt Menefee to see what's coming up at halftime.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, those guys will fill those seats as we talk about a busy week 3 already, including Ed Reed going back to Baltimore, AP trying to lead the Vikings to their first win of the season, and Rivers already flowing for San Diego. It's on the Visa halftime.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Cam Newton, 10 plays, 51 yards on this drive, chewing up nearly 3 minutes. It's not always how you start a drive, it's how you finish it.
He's finishing it strong now. This is where that arm strength and athleticism of Cam Newton is beginning to show up. He can make those deep sideline comeback throws.
First down from the Giant 15. And Newton saw the defender. Jason Pierre-Paul, first time we've called his name today. Right next to D'Angelo Williams, and then Paul took a step to his left and wrapped up Newton.
This was brilliant by Paul. He was going to tackle whoever had that ball. We saw that play before with the fake and then Newton down the middle of it. No, Paul was going to have no part of it here. He could have made a tackle on either guy once they decided who was going to carry it.
Under 30 seconds to the end zone. And overthrowing Greg Olsen as Newton brings up 3rd down.
I'm sounding like a broken record, but again, I'd love to see Cam Newton have a little bit more air on that. These flat, hard throws. He's got such a strong ball. Just a little bit more air to let your receivers adjust to a ball. May not have even gotten the catch, but it would have been pass interference because Hardy would have had more of Olsen would have had more of a shot at getting his hands on it.
From the 16, 3rd down and 12. Play clock down to 1, and they're going to have to call a timeout. It took a long time to get the Panthers out of the huddle into the line of scrimmage. They were able to huddle because of the incompleted pass. And now the question becomes, are you going to send out the field goal unit even on a 3rd down with no timeouts left?
You don't have to, not with 19 seconds left. You have time to run a play with no timeouts and run that fire field goal team on we talk about. We've talked many times. Most teams put it at 19 seconds to where you can run a play. If you don't get the first down, certainly if you don't get the touchdown, you have more than enough time to run your field goal team on.
It's a 3rd down and 12. Play clock down to 5. Blitz coming. Newton to the end zone. Touchdown, Brandon LaFell. He beat Terrell Thomas to the corner of the end zone.
This is reminiscent of that corner route that beat them in the last seconds against the Bills. E.J. Manuel of the Bills throwing the same type of route into the corner. Didn't run the rub route there, but in this instance, Thomas just getting beat to the outside. Newton getting the ball off just at the last second, throwing to the area rather than the man. There again, had just enough air to give the receiver a chance to run to it.
Now the point after by Gano. For Brandon LaFell, his first touchdown of his young season. (16-0) Carolina, a point after away from one more than that. This is without a doubt a first half of football that for the New York Giants, one of the great franchises, one of the most successful franchises under one of the truly great coaches in the history of the NFL, that has been an unmitigated disaster on offense. Their defense is hanging in there. They've had a lot of things not necessarily go their way. They've given up to 17, but offensively, ugly.
Tom, we had a game with the Giants last year against the Cincinnati Bengals. You can see here this type of futility that this was in the second half of the season, and it's been well documented how the Giants in November, early December have struggled a little bit. We had that game. They just had nothing about them. And it's the same thing here. Tom Coughlin talked about we need that spark. We need for that something to happen. They had a couple somethings happen here, and they couldn't do anything with it. The body language, the mentality, the emotion of the game right now is just not there for the Giants.
Remember, the Carolina Panthers get the football to begin the second half. They won the coin toss and deferred to the second half. Having said all that, this game is a long way from saying Giants are in a world of hurt. It's only a 17-0 game. Now included out of the back of the end zone. The NFL and all 32 teams are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Visit NFL.com/Hispanic Heritage to hear the personal stories of Hispanic players in the NFL. And of course, Ron Rivera, who grew up in Fort Old, California, the son of a Puerto Rican commissioned officer in the United States Army. His family traveled to the military bases all over the world, educated in bases in Germany, Panama, Washington, D.C., went to high school in California. Going to hand it off and end the misery of this Giants first half offensively. Eli Manning sacked 6 times. The Giants with 13 total yards of offense. The NFL on Fox continues with the Visa halftime report beginning right now. Your favorite team all season long. Just go to iTunes.com/NFL. Set for the start of the third quarter. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina on this Sunsplash Sunday afternoon in the Tar Heel State. And it's been all Panthers so far. They've sacked Eli Manning 6 times. 18 total yards of offense for the Giants in the first half. 1 passing yard. Of course, that's after you take away all the negative yardage off of the 6 sacks.
Well, here's the dilemma for the New York Giants. They're going to have to figure it out. Carolina's just got a standard spacing front. Anytime you talk about a standard front 7 in the box, you've got to be able to run against it. You certainly have to be able to protect only a 4-man rush. As you can see here, there is no place to go in the rushing game. So, okay, I got to drop back. I'm going to throw the ball. Well, Eli Manning 6 sacks on the day. So they got to find a way to crack this puzzle of this standard defense of the Carolina Panthers. And Carolina right here just got to keep doing what they've been doing.
It's not like Carolina offensively is, knocking the ball over the fence. Only 163 yards of offense so far.
And we've already talked about for Carolina the change in the secondary. That was the big concern coming in terms of the revamped secondary given the injury. These are the new starters in this secondary. And so you had to know that New York coming into the game was going to face a very passive secondary. The running game, the underneath passing game, it has to show up and is not. New York has 18 total yards, Tom. 18.
Second down give is to D'Angelo Williams, and he breaks a couple of tackles and leans forward to cross the 30, and that'll give him a first down. And we check in along the sideline with Laura.
Brian's not the only one talking glowingly about this Panthers secondary. Ron Rivera said, I'm really proud of these guys. It's a bunch of guys who've gotten an opportunity, and they have really, really taken advantage of it. Meanwhile, Carolina didn't look too confident, too cocky walking out at halftime. That starts with Ron Rivera, who said no lead is a safe lead. We know that when we're in the red zone, we've got to score touchdowns, not field goals. This is too explosive of a quarterback, of a team, for us to put our foot off the gas.
All right, Laura, thank you very much. 17-0 Carolina. A first down on this opening possession to begin the second half, and running room for D'Angelo Williams. Across midfield all the way to the Giant 42.
Nice job on this left side. You're going to watch them pull out Jordan Gross getting out in front of the play, as does Sulatolu. And now those are big bodies to get around the edge. D'Angelo Williams, as long as they continue to work that edge, you're now going to see Cam Newton at some point pull it back, boot and waggle out away from the play fake, and get a shot down the field.
The 27-yard gain by Williams, his biggest of the afternoon.
That's it.
Reverse coming to Ted Ginn Jr., among the fastest players in the NFL. And able to run him out of bounds. First time we've called the name all day long of Antrell Roll. Two-time Pro Bowl safety. As we look inside some of those numbers we referred to a couple of times already.
That's just, I don't know. And believe me, I've had some offenses that were pretty bad at times. But 18 yards, I don't know. I've seen that in a long, long time. Particularly with the turnovers that they had in scoring position.
Newton to throw it on first down. Smith for another first down to the Giant 20-yard line.
Well, you can see here. Here's what has to happen for the Giants. When they get on offense, they got to find something in the underneath passing game. That revamped secondary is not going to give you something down the field. You've desperately got to get something going in the running game, which they haven't. And for Carolina, just avoid the big mistake. You got a nice drive going here. As long as you don't throw an interception or fumble the ball in scoring position, you should be in good shape.
Injured Giant is Spencer Pasinger. We'll be back in a moment. 17-0. The Giants offense can only sit on the sideline, hoping the defense can come up with a takeaway. Carolina with the ball at the Giants 20, and Newton looking to the end zone. Touchdown a second time for Brandon LaFell.
Once again, we see the quarterback having the trust that his receiver knows where the ball is going to be. Aaron Ross has to trail the play, looking over his inside shoulder, so Cam Newton throws it, not a back shoulder throw necessarily, but just in behind in a nice, safe throw, recognizing that Brandon LaFell would know that's where the ball is going to come.
Point after by Graham Gano is good. 24-0. A little more than 3 minutes into the third quarter in Charlotte. Three catches, 53 yards, 2 of those receptions for touchdowns. First 2 touchdowns this season for Brandon LaFell. And a 24-0 Carolina lead over the Giants. The loser of this game goes to 0-3. The last 0-3 team to reach the playoffs. Got to go back to 1998, the Buffalo Bills. And the Giants offense with no answers.
Well, he's getting pressure everywhere from the outside. And then when he tries to step up into the pocket, the pressure's coming on the inside. You know, I know we've got a lot of turnovers by Eli Manning leading up to it, but right now he seems tentative to throw the ball down the field. So he's holding it against this revamped secondary of the Carolina Panthers. We may see Eli Manning have to force the ball down the field just a little bit.
But they had 10 turnovers, 7 interceptions the first 2 games. They've not turned it over at all today. But Manning has been sacked 6 times. And he had to get rid of that one quickly. There, Pasco unable to haul it in. Look at the first half numbers alone. The first 2 weeks in Dallas and home against Denver. Almost 200 yards of passing offense in the first half. Yeah, the touchdowns and of course the 3 interceptions, but only 1 sack. And then look at today.
Well, one leads to the other. As I said, you don't want to turn the ball over, so you end up holding a little bit. And now he's going to be in a position down 24-0. He's going to have to take some shots that he probably really doesn't want to take, but you got to do something.
Brandon Jacobs. Run out of bounds. It's a nice play by Drayton Florence. Laura, what about the Giants' perspective at halftime?
Well, Tom Coughlin, about that first half, Tom said, I asked him, is it something they're doing to you or something you are not doing? And he said, make no mistake about it, they are flat out beating us up front. I said, you've talked all week about that balance. What's the key to getting your offense going in the second half? And he said, scratch the balance, down 17 at the time. Yep. We will be passing and hopefully protecting our quarterback a lot better.
Well, we're about to find out. On a 3rd down and 8. They're 2 of 8 on 3rd down in the game today. Intercepted by Melvin White. Flag comes in. First Giant turnover of the game. We wait on the penalty. Melvin White playing in his 2nd career game.
After the interception, illegal block in the back. They're intercepting team number 76. 10-yard penalty. Keep the ball. First down.
It's on Greg Hardy, but you look in this secondary. White, his 2nd game. Robert Lester playing in the first game of his career after being signed off the practice squad. They released Drayton Florence, brought him in, and he's played the entire game.
Yeah, and you can see here White just falls off his coverage. Eli Manning never saw it. You know, the inside receiver had the break that he needed as he braked outside on Captain Munnerlyn. And he did not see Melvin White fall off coverage to intercept the ball. Brilliant job by White stepping in and route reading the 2-man combination. And as we said leading into it, Eli Manning having to put the ball up now in a way that we just heard Tom Coughlin say, make no mistake, there's no balance. We got to throw the ball if we're going to get back into this.
They lost their starting free safety Charles Godfrey for the year after an Achilles injury last week. Josh Thomas, concussion, not playing. His replacement, Josh Norman, out with a thigh injury. Quentin Michael inactive today with an ankle injury. A first down carry by Williams goes for 8.
Now there's 4 reasons why you throw an interception, Tom. You know, it's going to be with a bad decision. That's something a quarterback always is accountable for. A bad throw, bad vision, and I think that's what we just saw in that interception, or bad luck. You can usually put an interception in one of those 4 categories. Really, of the 4, only the bad decision is the one you can work with the quarterback. Sometimes the ball just comes out funny. Sometimes you're not going to see everything. Sometimes you just have bad luck. Certainly, Eli Manning on his interceptions so far this year, he's could put a couple in each of those categories.
This time they give it to Brockle. He's very close to a first down.
And here's what I'm talking about. You begin with the bad decision. Here he's just going to put the ball down the field. This guy ends up actually being triple coverage, throwing it in deep. Now you're going to come back with just a bad throw. He knows he shouldn't have thrown that in terms of the screen and the bad aiming point. This is bad vision. He and the outside receiver weren't on the same page. This is just bad luck. The ball kicks up off the foot of the defender. Right now, Eli Manning, boy, it's where do I go wrong now? But you know what? He's going to keep throwing it up there because he knows that's the only way this team can get back into it.
Third down and a yard. And Newton will keep it and picks up the first down at the 25. I thought it was interesting. Kevin Gilbride said yesterday, you know, one thing about... Well, let's hold that thought. We'll check in with Joel Klatt in L.A.
All right, Tom, real quick, we'll get you to Tennessee, where the Chargers have won 8 straight against the Titans. Ronnie Brown, a 1-yard TD run. That makes it 17-10 San Diego up in the third quarter. That's some good luck for them, Tom.
Cam Newton is split to the top of your screen. That's D'Angelo Williams getting a snap. And a flag comes down. And you wonder if that alignment perhaps didn't draw the penalty flag. Or will this go against the Giants?
Offside defense, middle of the line, is declined, second down.
So they'll take the run, a good run. Gain of 8.
Well, Cam Newton lining up outside. Obviously, now you got to communicate defensively. A little confusion as to how are we going to adjust to this. Obviously, we haven't seen it the whole game, that confusion. And boy, you can see right here, Carolina would love to add to that total right here to kind of put this thing out of sight.
Pitch it to Williams with plenty of green grass in front of him. And run out of bounds inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. First and goal, Carolina. And the yards starting to pick up now for the Panthers' all-time leader in rushing yards, D'Angelo Williams.
We saw this in the first half. This is their version of the read option, the give or the pitch. And in that instance on the outside, Jason Pierre-Paul, you can't take them all. Eyeball the give. Do I have the quarterback if he wants to keep it? Now you got to rely on the outside defensive pressure to pick up the pitch, and they did not.
13 attempps, 88 rushing yards for Williams. He'll go to the sideline as Tolbert checks into the backfield. And Tolbert gets the football. Meets a giant defender, Pierre-Paul, and able to actually push him backwards 2 yards. But, you know, when talking to Kevin Gilbride, he said one thing about Eli Manning, he doesn't care about his stats. He doesn't care if he has to answer all the questions about 3 interceptions, 5 interceptions. He's going to do whatever he can to try and give his team a chance.
And Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator for Carolina, told us the exact same thing. He said, and he's used to seeing Eli when he was in Philadelphia. He said he doesn't care about interceptions. Now, that sounds worse than it is, but saying if he throws it, he's ready to come right back and still put it up.
Quarterback draw, and Newton powers his way into the end zone. My, oh my.
That is 6'5", 245 plus pounds. That is a big man to have to pull down when you talk about a quarterback designed run. This was the design run all the way. This was a quarterback draw. And the Giants kind of knew inside the 10-yard line, they know that Cam Newton is going to be a favored runner inside the 10. So it's not like that surprised them. That's just a big, powerful man working his way into the end zone.
Jaquan Williams, intro roll. Couldn't bring down the big man. Well, they're excited in Carolina. They are running it up on the New York Football Giants. 31-0. 31-0. We invite you to never be without football. Good coverage of the NFL every game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile. That one booted out of the end zone. Just under 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. Lots of smiles, lots of celebrating going on. The interception by Melvin White, capped off by the touchdown. And a happy little boy right there in the stands. A lot of long faces on that Giant sideline, and understandably so, trailing 31-0. It's a Giant team that won 9 games last year, but a real Jekyll and Hyde team, you may remember. They had huge wins in San Francisco. They hammered Green Bay during the regular season. But then they got down to weeks 15 and 16, and they were humiliated in losses against Atlanta and Baltimore, outscored 67-14. Wound up with a 9-win season, but failed to make the playoffs for the third time in the last 4 years. And they're a quarter and a half away from starting this year at 0-3.
And make no mistake that the emotional impact, this is a prideful team, prideful organization. They came in knowing that they needed to find that spark, and it's not like they were playing a hot 2-0 Carolina Panther team. The fact that they're coming in getting beaten this fashion from a team equally desperate, an 0-2 Carolina Panthers team, a Ron Rivera coach team that, as we've already talked about, under a great deal of scrutiny and criticism, this one's cutting deep for them.
Second down at 9, and Manning, good protection. And across the middle finds Brandon Myers, his first year with the Giants. After spending his first 4 years out in Oakland with the Raiders. And that's good enough for a first down.
This is that underneath passing game I'm alluding to. You're going to find it very difficult to get your shots down the field, I would think, with this secondary, keeping everything in front of you. There is able to find that little hole right in behind the linebackers. Can you hold on to the ball long enough to find those holes? That's the question for the protection of the Giant front five.
They're going to run it. Wilson into Panther territory down to the 49-yard line. Your chance. You've heard about him, you've read about him, and now you can see Jay and Dan from Fox Sports Live do highlights like only they can. That'll be right here on Fox. Coming up on the post-game show, then tune in tonight at 11 on Fox Sports 1 as they cover all the news from the entire world of sports on Fox Sports Live. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com. Play fake, Manning down the middle, and slightly behind the intended target, Ruben Randall.
Eli knows he just missed that one. Underneath the linebackers had come up to put pressure. He had some underneath crossing routes, had a clear alley, about the same place that he just had the reception to Myers, and he just flat missed it.
Well, I'm kind of curious as we see this run by Wilson. It's going to get big yardage. That'll be a first down. And there is a penalty flag down, so a good run by Wilson for a second straight carry. But it could be brought back. And I want to ask you about the thinking on the sideline.
Holding, offense number 64. 10-yard penalty is still
That's the center,
down.
David Boss. Right, let me ask you now. You're down 31-0. You're under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. I'm not going to ask you if you're walking a sideline, have you conceded the game? But now we're seeing the Giants run the ball a little bit more. Are you saying to yourself, I want to see if we can work on a few things that we haven't done well yet?
I don't know if it's that as much as it is, you know what, we just need one good drive. I don't know if it's going to get us back into the game. You could make a case, say, hey, get in a no huddle, let's go, because we got a long way to go. But they have been so anemic so far in this game. Right now, he's telling Kevin Gilbride, just give me one good scoring drive. I don't care what it is you have to do.
So second down and 20. And they dump it off out of the backfield to Darrell Scott. Hard running to midfield. Got nearly half of it back. And while we have a moment, let's check in with Joel Klatt back in Los Angeles. Joel.
All right, thank you, Tom. And to Cincinnati, where the Bengals are now answering the Pac's 30 unanswered points. A.J. Green from Andy Dalton. That's 20 yards, and it's 30-21 Packers in the third quarter, Tom.
That could be a good finish there in Cincinnati. Beautiful day there. Beautiful day here. White sunshine, and clearly it's shining on the hometown Packers. Panthers leading 31-0. A third down and 12 for Eli Manning and the Giants. Catch by Randall. First down for Ruben Randall at the 34.
Melvin White thought he was going to sneak in there and get another one with that deep outside throw. You're going to see out into here but I want you to watch what happens late in the route. Melvin White falls off in the inside. He thinks he's going to get underneath, and it was actually Colin Jones thought he could buzz underneath that route. Nice job keeping it outside and safe, did Eli Manning, against this passive secondary. You can see how loose they're going to be here in Carolina.
Back on the ground to Wilson, and he is driven to the turf. K1 short slowed him down, and Chase Blackburn, who won a pair of Super Bowl rings with the New York Giants. Of course, it was his time 2 years ago when Chase Blackburn was thinking about becoming a full-time school teacher in his home state of Ohio. The Giants called him. They signed him after Thanksgiving. 5 days later, he intercepted a pass from Aaron Rodgers and became one of the postseason heroes for the Giants in that Super Bowl run. Manning looking for Randall. That looked like it went right through his hand. Good coverage back there by Melvin White. But White had his head turned, was looking at the receiver. And perhaps Randall lost it as it came past the body of the defender.
And you talked about the mentality of the New York Giants. It's hard for Carolina right now because, you know, what you're doing is fine. Don't start getting nervous just because New York's having a little success. Keep with the package you had because time is on your side. And as long as they don't get that big play, I'm not sure they can put together enough 10, 12 play drives to beat you.
Ninth play of this drive. Sack for the 7th time in the game. And Charles Johnson with his 2nd sack.
And with the pressure they're getting on the outside, I want you the back comes in here and tries to help on the right side. He goes all the way outside. It doesn't help. Justin Pugh works all the way outside. He has help by the back, and still that pressure on the outside is able to get home. Charles Johnson fighting through the double team to make the sack.
So after a pretty good drive, the first sustained drive by the Giants, it comes to a halt. Rutherford, an end-over-end punt, handled by Ginn at the 12-yard line. 1:37 to play in the third. The Panthers up big on the Giants, looking for their first win of the year. 1:37 to go in the third quarter. Carolina leading. It's a stunning score. I don't care how hardcore a football fan you are, what team you root for, wherever it is. You like hanging out and watching football, whether you're here, whether you're at home. Local watering hole. I don't think anybody saw 31-0 Panthers with a minute and a half left to go in the third quarter coming today. And a happy day indeed for Cam Newton and the Panthers, especially since he threw the interception back in the second quarter.
Yeah, since the interception, they've had the 4 possessions, a field goal, and 3 touchdowns. Talked about the demeanor of a Cam Newton in tougher times. Obviously, today's post-game news conference should be a little bit different temperament than we saw there. A lot easier, obviously, to be upbeat after a game like this.
Second down and 8. Put it in the hands of D'Angelo Williams. You know, really with this Carolina team, and Brian, we talked about it earlier in the week, this is a Carolina team, unlike the Giant team, that could very easily be 2-0 right now. They were down 12-7 late in the fourth quarter, driving against Seattle. D'Angelo Williams fumbled the football at the 8-yard line. They lose the game. Then last week, on a 4th and 1, had the ball to Buffalo 21. They decide to kick a field goal on 4th and 1 to go up 6. Buffalo out of timeouts, and the Panther defense could not prevent Buffalo going 80 yards in the final minute 20 to win the game.
With that banged up secondary that we're seeing here that obviously was having to adjust on the run.
Catch, but denied the first down yardage. Former Giant, his first catch of the year. Dominic Hickson. That'll be the final play of the third quarter. 31-0 Panthers. The NFL on Fox continues after a break from your local Fox station. 7-0 game at the end of the opening quarter. Giants had a couple of chances to cash in on a pair of turnovers by Carolina early in the second quarter. Once gave it away on downs, and of course the second time where they missed a field goal. Cam Newton throwing an interception, but this will be the first drive since that interception where Carolina will not score points. This one is launched off the foot of Brad Norton. And Reuben Randall at the 25, still on his feet, and dropped to the 27-yard line. Well, stranger things have happened in a quarter of football. We have a penalty flag, by the way, I beg your pardon, all the way back at the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Defense number 98.
That's a first down.
A 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's unbelievable. Bad just went to worse. Offsides on a punt.
On a short 4th and 2 or 3. I mean, there's certain basic fundamentals things you do, obviously, and this is what Tom Coughlin's alluding to, that you've got to protect yourself against. The last thing you want to do is jump off sides, line up off sides, get any kind of penalty that's going to get the ball back to the offense. Those are part of the basic fundamentals, the core things that you teach. And Tom Coughlin, maybe one of the best teachers ever in this game, that's where the frustration is building up in him, because it's just the core fundamental things that are killing him.
That's their number 3-round draft pick from his past year, Demontre Moore, who jumped off sides. Wide open is Olsen. Did he come down with both feet inbounds? He did it midfield. So he started to say a moment ago, since a Newton interception, were it not for the penalty, that would have been the first drive where they have not scored points since then. And they're in hurry-up mode, leading 31-0. First down, D'Angelo Williams cuts it back to the inside. That'll be a gain of 2.
And I don't know that Carolina just got into hurry up for any other reason than typically if you're not sure if there's not going to be a review or a challenge, they may have thought, well, boy, this may have been closer to out of bounds, so we're going to get up and get a play run, although this is clearly a solid catch. Yep. But sometimes you just kick into automatic and the offense goes, okay, you get the word, whatever it is, the tack or no huddle, that says, okay, we're going to get up, and we have a pre-prescribed play to run a no huddle. The fact that it didn't follow up with a no huddle tends to make me think that's exactly what we just saw.
Play fake, looking for Ginn in the end zone. Touchdown. Ginn has been, since the day he walked out of Ohio State, one of the fastest, if not the fastest player in the NFL. You try to stay with him 1-for-1, that's a losing battle.
And I don't know that he didn't think, Aaron Ross, that he was going to get help over the top from Ryan Monday. But Monday went flat because Amani Edwards was running a deep cross that would have been open. He saw that cross coming. And I think Aaron Ross thought he was getting help over the deep middle by Monday.
Point after is good. This is unbelievable. They're saying the same thing right now in New York. 38-0. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Newton has hit on 15 of 27, 3 touchdowns, an interception. D'Angelo Williams has rushed for nearly 100 yards, and we go back to the interception. Since then, field goal, 4 touchdowns on 5 ensuing possessions. Newton has hit on 6 of his last 6. Half of those passing attempts for touchdowns. Wilson going to bring it out of the end zone. And he's dropped to the 15.
Well, let's go back and look at that touchdown, what I was referring to. You're going to see Ryan Monday right here. And I think that's where Aaron Ross thought he was going to get help. As you can see on the outside, you're going to see the receiver come now underneath. That holds Monday underneath. Had he gone deep, the underneath route would have been there. And Aaron Ross, excuse me, I guarantee is thinking, wait a minute, wasn't there supposed to be somebody back there?
13:24 to play. And Manning just going to put it up. Myers his second catch. A beautiful area coverage. Bank of America Stadium in downtown Charlotte, provided by DirecTV. It's a beautiful venue, has been since the day it opened. Of course, their first year they played down at Clemson Stadium in nearby Clemson, South Carolina. Wilson. A couple of big hits and stays on his feet. That's a first down carry up to the 33-yard line.
First down for the Giants at the 33-yard line.
77 games have passed since the Carolina defense last pitched a shutout. Of course, we still have a long way to go in this one, but it's been a long time. Did Randall hang on to that football? He did, and my, did he take a hit from Mike Mitchell. And Randall injured on the play. Brian, you see plays like this and you wonder how guys, how they ever get up sometimes.
That was a man's play right there. This is the big man, Ruben Randall. And that's the ultimate in focus, to be able to pull down a ball when that safety's got a beat on you, bearing down on you. Hopefully he'll be back up. Hopefully it's just the wind being knocked out of him.
Ruben Randall able to get up after taking that big hit a moment ago by Mike Mitchell. First down for the Giants at the 44-yard line. Manning handles a low snap, and it's on the ground, out of the hands. And it looks like the Panthers have the football. That's Louis Murphy Jr., who has not caught a pass this season, was in there for Randall. Made the catch, ball loose.
And as he's going to switch the hand, he had it in the right, put it to the left, put it back on the right. Melvin White, who's having a heck of a game so far, able to strip the ball, and when you're ahead like that, it's all about, I got guys that can cover me. We talk all the time about, do you tackle or do you strip? Well, there the strip had it. Turns over, another turnover.
Louis Murphy Jr. Of course, he spent last year right here in Carolina with the Panthers.
Sean McDermott, the defensive coordinator, long time in Philadelphia. Loving what he's seeing right now. Hoping his defense can continue to pitch a shot.
I always thought if there was one guy in the NFL, and there are a lot of guys, Brian, you know, you've been around the league forever. But I thought McDermott really got a raw deal in Philadelphia. You know, you go back and you look at what happened there. He spent 12 years under Andy Reid. He replaces the late Jim Johnson as defensive coordinator. His 2 years as coordinator, they had the 12th ranked overall defense. They were #1 in the NFL in takeaways over those 2 years. They lose to Green Bay in the playoffs, and he gets fired.
Well, and you said it right there. He followed the legendary Jim Johnson. That was the problem. No matter what you did going forward, it was always going to be compared to that. And I think that's what he got caught up in Philadelphia.
Williams.
And oh, by the way, I haven't been around forever. I mean,
You've been
I'm
around
not that old.
I mean,
I've been around a while, but not forever.
Well, dirt was around before that, but not sure about the grass part.
I feel like that at some point. Eli Manning's been here before. He knows what this looks like. Now this Giant defense right now, you got to take some chances. You've got to try to do some track coverage, maybe cornerbacks jumper route. When you get that opportunity, you got to be all about stripping the ball. Forget about tackling somebody. Whoever gets the ball in their hands, strip it.
Put it down, and Williams trying to get that first down mark. And now, where do you spot? This is one of those interesting calls here in the NFL. Clearly his forward progress had stopped, although he had not come down to the ground. And they gave him that extra push right there to get a first down.
Well, the forward progress was not stopped.
All right. D'Angelo Williams eclipsing the 100-yard mark. Talked about how he's the all-time leading rusher in Panthers franchise history. Most attempts, his 18th. 100-yard rushing game. That's also a Panthers record. And this is all for a guy who was on the bench midway through last year. Let's go downstairs to Laura Oakley.
Unfortunately for the Giants, they don't get points for toughness, because if they did, Ruben Randall, officially the Giants are just saying a shot to the ribs. His return is probable. Pretty impressive after that shot.
Sure was.
Yeah, we're going to see the heavy dose of this run. Any pass other than a third down, I can't imagine it being in any other form than a play action pass, because the Giants are having to jump over any semblance of a run, which is going to open up some things in behind it. But right now they want to crank the clock down. They're doing a heck of a job in the running game.
Second down, and once more to Williams. Breaks a tackle from Jaquan Williams, and big carry down to the New York 42 and another first down. You know, we talk so much about the defensive line of Carolina manhandling the Giants' offensive line. It should be noted in this game that the Panthers' offensive line has dominated this Giants much ballyhoo with, quite honestly, very little production. Defensive front. This is a defensive line. They got all the pub in 2011. They had all the sacks last year. Quarterback pressure virtually non-existent from the Giants. You go back over their last 7 games that they've played. They have only 5 sacks. They have 1 on Cam Newton here today.
And they got Jason Pierre-Paul back into the starting lineup.
Yep.
Of course, he had the surgeries over the summer. And when you sit and visit with them, they you know, it's the same thing. Yeah, we've got to show up more. That's who we are. We're the New York Giants. They felt like they were going to have to do more games, do more individually. And so far, you just haven't seen it. So you're exactly right. That offensive line of the Panthers deserves a lot of credit. This is a pretty good offensive line now, anchored by Jordan Gross on left. Ryan Khalil, they're loving having him back and healthy. Sulatalu is awful solid at the left guard. Chris Scott came over from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then the ascension of Byron Bell, 3rd round, or an undrafted free agent. So this is a good, big physical, which is kind of a hallmark of Carolina.
Yep. Strong running off to the left side by Tolbert.
We talked about what Carolina came through could easily have been 2-0. For them, it's all about going forward. They're on a bye now. And you look at this after the bye, you know, every game is a tough game in the NFL, but you look at Arizona, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay. I know there's a lot on the road there, but there's some winnable games for them to now start to get on their stride. And that's what head coach Ron Rivera is counting on. Obviously going to be nice going into this bye week after what appears to be a lopsided win against the New York Giants.
Tolbert. Met at the line of scrimmage. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10, and we go to Los Angeles and check in once more with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Bengals scored the first 14, Packers next 30, but here come the Bengals with back-to-back touchdowns. Marvin Jones pulled it a little closer. The extra point was blocked, so it's a 30-27 Green Bay lead, 5:53 left in regulation. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. That was after the Bengals on their prior drive, if I'm not mistaken, had just missed a field goal. They're having problems in their kicking game, among many other problems today. D'Angelo Williams. Out of the I formation, they give it to him. This guy's been a good back man for a long time. They got D'Angelo Williams in the first round, 2006, out of Memphis. He has averaged almost 5 yards per carry in his career, 4.93 to be exact. That is the 9th best in NFL history.
And the only reason he doesn't have more gaudy stats in terms of total yards, remember, he was teamed with Jonathan Joseph for years. And so that 1-2 combination that has been the hallmark here in Carolina, he's not going to be the 300 carry, 350 carry kind of guy. Jonathan Stewart, excuse me.
And off once more to Williams. Read that time by Rivers. He'll bring up 4th down. Carolina going to let all that time just continue to tick away. And the Giants not going to stop it either.
This is the time of the game, as odd as it sounds, really worried me as a coach. When I'm up 38-0, how's my team going to finish it off? Or do you mentally let down now when an injury pops up because you're not as focused as you need to be?
Are they going for it on 4th down and 7? They are.
Interesting.
They didn't go for a 4th and 1 with 1:20 last week.
Now that one, it's either, okay, you might be outside the range of your field goal kicker, I guess. Maybe he's injured. I don't know. I don't know how to.
All right. Well, you know what? If that's the biggest problem Ron Rivera has to worry about today.
Life's good, isn't it?
He's having a good
If you want to
weekend.
be criticized for that, so be it.
.355 to play here in Charlotte. Giants have the football, trailing 38-0. Now, Brian, you won a lot of games, went to the playoffs many times during your nearly decade-long run, including a Super Bowl title in Baltimore. But there were years it didn't start very well for the Ravens. Rare, albeit, but you had them. Anybody who's ever coached in this league, including a Hall of Fame coach to be one day, and Tom Coughlin, have had bad starts. Now, the Giants have not had an 0-2 start since 2007. They've not had an 0-3 start since all the way back prior to Coughlin arriving in 1996.
Well, it's a different proposition from Tom Coughlin that we talked about the pressures on Ron Rivera. You're right, with those 2 Super Bowls in his back pocket, the approach he can take, if only from the standpoint that the players know Tom Coughlin's going to be here next year, and that's a big part of it. When you look at their schedule now going forward, we talked about the upside for Carolina after the bye and who they play. You look at here now, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Chicago. You got a 3-game run here that is going to be a challenge for these, I'll say, 0-3 New York Giants now. And if anybody can keep that focus of your team, it's going to be a Tom Coughlin, but you're going to have to drag them through it. They're going to want to do the right things. They're going to say the right things. But this is a tough position to be in.
I think some of the Giants were very upset on that hit delivered by Mitchell on Victor Cruz, that last pass attempt. There is a lot of jawing going on. And Mitchell had Cruz right in his eyesight here. This was a play before, when after the incompletion, Mitchell leveled Cruz, and he was getting ready to do the same again right there.
And we've seen these types hit a couple times today. Again, it was not helmet to helmet. Questionable whether he was this new targeting rule, but clearly the angle came in. And obviously, if you're Giants, you're not going to agree with that.
Third down, Manning nearly had it stripped away and just throws to the far sideline out of bounds. We have not called the name Hakeem Nicks all day today. Grew up just down the road in Charlotte Independence High School. Take a look at this. 5 teams have started a season 0-3 and made the playoffs. The last one being the 1998 Buffalo Bills.
And of course, as a coach, you say that means nothing because at one point somebody did it.
Yeah.
So let's us be that team.
All the offense, even with all the turnovers. The first 2 weeks of the season, down the middle. That should have been intercepted by Lester. I think he was thinking about hitting Brandon Myers. Day is over for Carolina quarterback Cam Newton, and he will leave today with a smile on his face and the Panthers' first win of the year. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. All 3 touchdowns came after the lone interception. Derek Anderson, one-time starter. And both Cleveland and Arizona takes over at quarterback, and they're just going to kill time and run out the final 3 minutes plus of this one. Anderson, a Pro Bowler back in 2007. They wanted him to be the man in Arizona to take them to the next level after Kurt Warner retired. Never worked out there.
Well, we took Derek Anderson in Baltimore and tried to slip him onto our practice squad. Cleveland picked him up. Had a good solid year in the 1 year in Cleveland, and then for some reason wasn't able to really follow up on it. Good solid backup in this league right now, particularly if all you can do is turn around and hand off the ball.
Off to the left side, that's Armand Smith, his first carry of the year. And he's down to the 43-yard line.
I know you didn't hear me the first time, Tom. After last week's stunning showdown between 2 of the house's top fighters, the tension between Team Rossi and Team Tate spills over into the locker room in what's being called the new best rivalry in sports. Don't miss all new episodes of Ultimate Fighter this Wednesday on Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com and do it right now.
And we have reached a 2-minute warning right now. 38-0. 38-0. Panthers have not pitched a shutout on defense going all the way back to 2008, spanning 77 games. Of course, this was a franchise from its very infancy under Dom Capers as head coach. It was, as a timeout is called, was built around the running game and a great defense. They had a great defense for a long time here.
And then that get carried on with John Fox. And that, again, a defensive-minded coach who's always looking for that run balance. They've hired another defensive coach, Ron Rivera, trying to keep that same mentality going.
Well, we invite you to stay tuned following the game for the State Farm post-game show. Our game today produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Greg Scopatone. Our technical producer, Bob Muller, technical director, Dane Crawford, replay producer, Mark Titleman, our associate director, Yvonne Wagner, broadcast associate, Jordan Wolf. Thank you for spotter, Scott Snyder. Our entire stats crew headed up by none other than Tom Barbary up here in the booth, along with Eric Norton and Mike Eldridge down in the truck. Pleasure to be with you today from Charlotte. And we'll be right back inside the NFC North. Professor Billick looking ahead to next weekend for the Detroit Lions, as that one will be into the end zone, a touchback. The Lions, who are beating the winless Washington Redskins right now by 10 points late in the fourth quarter in D.C. Boy, there's a topic in and of itself. They'll be taking on the Chicago Bears, who play later tonight in Pittsburgh. Backup quarterback, seeing his first action as a New York Giant. And a pass completed to Darrell Scott out of the backfield. Brian, what do you say to your team? I mean, I know you got to keep them focused. We can talk about every cliche from now till the end of time. But what do you say?
Whether you are 3-0 or 0-3, the challenge is the same. How do I keep my team focused on the next task at hand? And it's those extremes that will draw that focus away. 0-3, it's obvious. All the naysayers, boy, you can't make the playoffs. This is how bad you are. When you're 3-0, oh boy, how good are you? You're going to roll through this next opponent. You've got to find a way to get your players. And you know what? The players are a little bit better at it than the coaches, quite frankly. There's a flag. I don't think there's any question here that Drake Florence, this is a young man that just rejoined the team this week.
From the spot of the foul, automatic. First down.
Just reached up and grabbed the receiver.
Well, you just watch some of the body language. You don't even have to see highlights or touchdowns or anything else. Both teams came in 0-2. It will be the Giants who will lead, still in search of their first win. And you know, Brian, you look inside this NFC East. That Redskin game is not over. There's an incomplete pass. But they were losing by 10 at last check. Dallas was getting a win today to go to 2-1. Of course, the Philadelphia Eagles lost on Thursday night. They're 1-2. I mean,
so you sit here going into this game at 0-2, and you tell your guys, hey, we're one game out. And now sing at 0-3, if you can hold on to your guys, say, guys, we're one game out in the division. That's maybe the hook you can hook on to pull yourself out of this circumstance.
Intercepted. First career interception for Robert Lester, who was signed off the practice squad with all of the injuries to the Panthers secondary last week in that loss against Buffalo. And you've got to give all the credit in the world to this Carolina defense, not only the sacks up front, but the job turned in by guys like Robert Lester, Mike Mitchell, Josh Norman, Captain Munnerlyn,
Melvin White,
Florence, Melvin White with an interception and a fumble.
And again, it's worth saying this was against the #1 passing attack in the National Football League. I know 2 games into it that stats are, you only go so far. But the challenge they overcame with this secondary, the challenge they put to their front 7 and their front 4 to do just the things we talked about, and them answering the way they did. Ron Rivera can build on this.
Well, for many of you, we're going to be sending you to Cincinnati. You talk about one wild game. They're down to the final 2.5 minutes, and the Bengals have a 4-point lead over the Packers. We're going to be sending you there where Green Bay just got the football for bonus coverage in our early games. Carolina will get its first win after 2 painful losses to begin the year. Games they felt like they could have won. And for the Giants, a long flight back to New York. Starting for the first time 0-3 since 1996. We're back to Charlotte. 38-0, our final.